Hey everybody, welcome to Here's the Thing.
Here's the thing. Hi, Keisha.
Hi, Aundria.
I'm glad to
So
be here.
I'm happy to have you here. So Here's the Thing is the show where we slow things down, talk about the stories beneath the headlines, and explore how they land across generations. And so, as Andrea just said, she is here joining me this week as my guest co-host. You may recognize her from We the People Unite. Very
We the
happy to have you
people
here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and next Tuesday, actually, a week from now, is Election Day. So we are going to be talking about all the elections coming up and voting. We're going to make sure that you're prepared with what you need to know to vote. So we'll talk about what's happening to voting rights across the country, why these upcoming elections matter, and how people are fighting back. So to start, let's dig into a recent headline, and I will play a video.
The Supreme Court appears on the verge of further undercutting voting rights. It's a move that could have huge implications on the upcoming midterm elections for you. The dispute stems from Louisiana, where a federal judge ordered lawmakers to draw a second majority black congressional district after ruling their original map, with just 1 out of 6 districts being held by Democrats, unlawfully diluted black voting power. Now, a group of white voters is challenging that decision, arguing it goes too far. It's a position the court's conservatives are very, very likely to support. In plain English, America's main law that bans racial gerrymandering, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, could be gone. Listen to what Justice Brett Kavanaugh had to say during arguments for the case.
This court's cases in a variety of contexts have said that race-based remedies are permissible for a period of time, sometimes for a long period of time, decades in some cases, but that they should not be indefinite and should have an endpoint.
Now, here's what Janae Nelson, representing the civil rights group that challenged the original map, said during oral arguments.
My opponents here would like to make this a partisan issue because they believe the case law will enable their case to prevail, but it does not. This is about race. Section 2 and the Voting Rights Act is laser focused on eliminating racial discrimination from our electoral process, regardless of party. And if we look at many of the Black Congress people who were elected, they came out of Section 2 opportunity districts. They don't have to be majority minority districts. Many of them are crossover districts. And so if we remove Section 2, we also recognize that there will likely be a resurgence of discrimination because Section 2 plays a deterrent effect.
If that portion of the law is gutted, it would have lasting effects on the country. Voting rights advocates warn that if the court weakens Section 2, states could redraw or even erase as many as 19 majority black districts across the country, dramatically reducing black political representation. A decision isn't expected until next summer, but depending on how the court rules, Louisiana could either keep its 2 majority black districts or lose one entirely. And Republican state legislatures are watching, with North Carolina and Indiana already considering new congressional maps at President Trump's request. The Supreme Court appears.
So that's kind of something concerning. What do you think about this, Andrea?
Well, what I think is all this time we worked so hard to have equal voting rights for us and with everyone else, because it's not just black people and white people in this country. It's Spanish Americans, it's Asians. And so we're trying to have equal rights for everyone. And it's just the effort on Donald Trump's behalf to just say, no, we don't want this. We don't want blacks to have any say so in the matter. He wants us to go and pick cotton again, and he wants the Asians to pick the fruit, and he wants the Mexicans to go home. No. We got to get out and vote. We got to get out and vote. We got to get out and protest. I just feel like we can't sit this one out. And with the SNAP benefits ending, we need as much help as we can get, because I watched something the other day that says people are going to start looting these stores. They said even looting pharmacies, taking medicine, taking food. I don't want to see that chaotic world. I think we need the representation, and that Donald didn't have the right to even call Texas and ask for Abbott to, okay, 5 more. I just need 5. I just need 5 more names and districts. And he did it. And when I went to vote myself, I went to vote. I went early voted, and that redistricting was not even on the voting ballot. It was just other things. So I just don't like all the cheating.
Yeah, and cheating is a good word for it. And unfortunately, it's kind of seeming like, based at least on what Brett Kavanaugh said, that they might actually let this pass, and it'll make it harder for us to vote. And unfortunately, this is not the first time that the Supreme Court has done anything to roll back voting rights. So we'll watch a video on Shelby versus Holder from 2013.
While the Supreme Court has been busy granting corporations more power to influence elections, they've been stripping actual people of their power to influence elections. In 2013, the Supreme Court gutted the 1965 Voting Rights Act in Shelby County versus Holder. The conservative justices' ruling stripped the pre-clearance requirement that states with a history of voter suppression must receive clearance from the federal government before enacting any new voting laws. The court essentially ruled that the racial voter suppression that the Voting Rights Act was intended to guard against no longer existed. In the years since, the very same states that were previously subjected to pre-clearance have passed a wave of voter suppression laws. Unsurprisingly, these laws disproportionately affect voters of color. While the Supreme
So it's basically exactly what you were talking about, Aundria. They're rolling back.
They're already trying to take the money. Like I said, they want to take all the money back, because every time a group of Blacks start, progressing in this world, every time we start having better jobs, or they see us driving better cars, or we're moving into their neighborhoods, next thing you know, either they want to find a tree to hang us by, or they want to burn the building down. They can't keep doing this. The Supreme Court isn't working, and I'm sad and sorry about that, because you would think we've gotten further along. I mean, really. And when they didn't vote for Kamala, I couldn't believe they didn't vote for Kamala. I said, what? I said, she had offered the country so much. We can give you down payment on homes. We can help you with schooling, for your education. She was going to even give us preschool and senior help, for your parents. And he said he was going to be a dictator on day one. Now, why people didn't believe him, I don't know. And he kept saying, I have a secret. I don't know if you remember when he would go out and give his I want to say town halls or lectures or whatever he was doing. He was saying, I got a secret. And I still think the secret was he was cheating. Again, I have to go back to the word cheating, because his rallies is what I want to say. When he go to these rallies, he would just listen to music and just sway back and forth and do his dance. And he knew he had something up his sleeve.
You said dancing, and I'm thinking about his recent dancing in Singapore, in Malaysia, and Japan. I'm so disgusted. He is so terrible.
Yeah.
I know that's not the point of this, but oh my God, the dancing is embarrassing.
Yeah, but that's what it makes you think of. He danced, and then he tells one more lie, he's joking with our lives. He's joking with our lives. Hi, Jazzy. And I don't really appreciate it. And the more I hear it, the angrier it makes me get. Excuse me.
Yeah, and like we're told that voting is our right and voting is our power, but then it just seems like they're continually trying to take away our voice and make it harder to vote.
Well, see, that's what I keep trying to get Black and brown and Asians to understand, that voting is so important that they would do anything to distract or stop us from voting at all. And we don't really realize how much power we have in our hands. The protest that we had, that some people say it was 7 million, some people say it was 8.2 million. That has to continue. That has to continue. You know, they got rid of the CEO at Target. We have power. And we have to realize the power that we're holding, even if we got to come up with codes. And like they went and they planned Project 2025 for years. And here we thought we were doing fine. And I didn't know every time we would use the word, woke. We didn't know the word woke one day would be used against us. With what's his name in Florida, DeSantis in Florida, he continues to use that word against us. And all woke really means is we're paying attention to what's going on. It's not just a funny word that we have.
It's not. But speaking of woke, let's talk about what is on the ballot for this coming election day. Because some of what's happening with the Supreme Court is just a taste of what's going on with voting. So according to the Brennan Center for Justice, the number of new restrictive voting laws has increased in 2025, nearly matching the pace set in 2021. And meanwhile, legislation aimed at expanding voting rights has lagged, which means that Democratic progress is slower in many states. So I have a nice chart to show. So in 2025, there are 29 laws in 16 states that are restrictive, 8 laws in 7 states that are interference laws, and 30 laws in 25 states that are expansive.
Me being in Texas, and when I lived in Houston, there are 5 million people in Harris County, and he had one. He again called Abbott again and said he only wanted one box that we could come to. That everybody, 5 million people, we supposed to drive up to one ballot box and put our ballots in. And we said, that's impossible. That's impossible. He made it difficult for handicapped people that used to could drive through these polling places and these voting places where you could just drive through if you're handicapped. He kind of took those away. Some of those are back now, but he's still going through everything he can to stop us from voting. I mean, again, somebody that wants us not to vote, we must get out. It's like almost 50 million people sat at home and did not vote in the whole country. We would have won this last time, but I still think it was cheating. We might have won in the last time had it not been Elon Musk with all of his money. See, all of his friends got a whole bunch of money. And see, they think that Donald Trump is really a racist. He is somewhat racist, but he loved the color green. And if anybody can remember that he loves the money green, and that's all you got to offer him is some green money and a compliment, and we can get him back. But we have to come out and vote.
Yeah, and like the saying goes, if your vote wasn't important, they wouldn't try to keep you from voting.
Mm-hmm, that's right. And don't forget that. That's the most important thing. They want us to stop. I'm not going to count any more marbles. I'm not going to see if I can spell. He want to see if I can spell. He want to see if I can count marbles. Come on now. You can't count marbles. And this SNAP benefits, it's going to affect more of his people. It's going to affect more Republicans than it is Democrats. See, and he thinking because we're not on a lot of these programs because they keep denying us. Just like the DEI, just like when he tried to get rid of all the DEI people, that affected more white people than it did black people.
That's
because
for sure.
it was mainly white females. It was mainly white females, and that was wrong of him to do that too. He gonna bust hell wide open when he die.
So I want to get into what the restrictive laws are that are on the ballot in these states that are coming up next week. So for 2025, states that enacted restrictive voting laws. At least 6 states enacted laws to tighten voter list maintenance, meaning they purged voters from the rolls. Several states limited voting locations. 6 states passed laws restricting mail voting, and Utah eliminated universal mail voting altogether. So Utah used to be that everyone was automatically registered to vote by mail. They have now eliminated that, so you have to opt in. And then Utah, Kansas, and North Dakota are shortening the deadlines to return your mail-in ballot. So there's no grace period.
What's funny about that is Donald Trump for all these years has been mailing in his ballots. He used the mail-in. I usually go do early voting, but he was using mail-in. So what was so wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with mail-in ballots. They do mail-in ballots in California, and nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with mail-in ballots, you know. And then when they even talked about the cheating going on in mail-in voting, you know, mailing in your ballots, they didn't find, it wasn't no huge number of people that were cheating or dead. He always said they was dead too.
Well, Donald Trump is very much a okay for me, but not for thee kind of person. He can do whatever the hell he wants, but the rules have to be different for the rest of us.
And the one thing I want to mention too, because, you know, he went and he gave $40 billion, $40 billion. He didn't give him $40 million. He went to Argentina and gave $40 billion. And then I saw on the show this morning that the king there, or prime minister, whatever his name is, that he was dancing. He gave a party after he got them $40 billion. And then the only thing that they bought from us was only 8 million to 40 billion. Yet you're going to let your country starve. You're going to let all of them starve. You know, you didn't even want them to get the vaccines when we had the pandemic, and you talking about bleach up your booty. That didn't make no sense.
No.
Bleach and some, you know, hydroxychloroquine, and he said all kinds of. See, he even got mad at Fauci. He got mad at Fauci for trying to give us the right information. And the people that were out there working were the minorities. Minorities are the ones that mainly have those frontline jobs. You know, the bus drivers, the train conductors, the airline employees that are frontline with the traffic, the traveling world, and the garbage people, the garbage man. It's always frontline people, and I don't respect him. I don't respect him. That's me. I don't respect him. Some of the stuff I say, I have to keep to myself because he gonna come over my house. See, he gonna come to my house because I get upset with him and I want to say stuff. This will be live. Next thing you know, he said, "What happened to Aundria?"
On mail-in voting, there is something to be very careful about because the post office is actually changing how they process mail. So let's watch a quick video on that.
Mm-hmm.
But here, you may have to mail it in sooner for it to count. Ballots must get postmarked on Election Day, but the Secretary of State and the California Attorney General are warning your ballot may not get postmarked on Election Day if you are 50 miles from the Postal Service hub. Now, we only have 2 of these hubs in all of Northern California, so look at this map right here. Are you within 50 miles of West Sacramento or Richmond? If you are, make sure you mail it in the Monday before the election to get it postmarked on time to count. That's if you're not within 50 miles of those locations. This impacts voters in Stockton, Modesto, Tracy, Lake Tahoe, Colfax, Colusa, all around there, all 50 miles or more from a regional center. So why the change? Well, the Postal Service announced the changes in April as part of its Delivering for America plan to be financially stable over the next 10 years.
So if you're going to use the Postal Service, make sure you put it in the day before so it can be postmarked. Make sure if you walk into it the day of, you want to go inside the Postal Service and ask them to stamp your ballot for you, and they will. You also want to make sure if you want to put it into our box, our voting box, those big boxes we have, they will be counted on that day. So we have more ways, more days, and anything you can imagine to basically vote. No one has an excuse for not voting in California.
I do love California. And my sister, she retired from the post office, and she knows that he's going through all kinds of things to get us not to vote, but just we got to stay prayed up. This is something that this is bigger than us. This is actually bigger than us. And we've come out of things worse before, and we're going to come out of this too. More people must get out and protest because they said it's us that can make things change. It's us. You don't have to keep voting in these guys for senators or representing us in the Senate or in the Congress. We don't have to keep voting for these people. The people that are doing things against our interests, they're hurting us. They're hurting your children. They're hurting your parents, your grandparents. I don't care. We need to all go up to the White House and do an insurrection like he did us.
There is, I believe, next Wednesday, a big protest planned in DC, and they're trying to get people to come from all over the country to protest in DC. So not like a No King's Day where it's every state and city has its own thing, but they want to get as many people as possible to come to DC to protest. That's next Wednesday.
This one, did they give us enough time to I don't know if we need.
It's like as many people as can get there in the time that allows. Because we want to give people time, but we also we don't have time, right? That's the thing. But go ahead. I
said they know that, but we still, like you saying, we got to do the best we can do with what we have. And I still say if we got out of slavery, we can get out of this.
Absolutely. Another video to watch. I found this woman on TikTok. She's a politics girl. She's really good. This is about what's happening in Georgia.
Georgia.
What's up, America?
This is my real house, and I'm trying to do right, but there are people who walk through my scene. Keep it moving.
Bye. That was my husband.
If you live in Georgia or know someone who does, then this is for you. In late August, Georgia removed over 471,000 people from their list of registered voters. So if you are a Georgia voter, please check your status immediately. Even if you voted before or you vote in every election, your name could have been taken off the list without your knowledge, and those who are looking to suppress your vote are counting on you not to check. I need you to check. To be clear, this is exactly why we need to reinstate the protections of the Voting Rights Act. When the Supreme Court started gutting key parts of the Voting Rights Act, it meant that states, especially states who have a history of voter suppression, no longer had to check with anyone before they made changes, which meant they could do what they are doing now. purging voters, changing rules, making it harder to vote, removing drop boxes, challenging registrations, and certain states have been doing it aggressively ever since. So do not let them take your vote. Stay registered, stay informed, stay aware. Remember, if your vote didn't count, they wouldn't be trying so hard to take it from you.
That's right. And John Lewis said we need to get in good trouble.
That's right.
We have to be willing to get in good trouble. I mean, it makes us speechless because we've seen what he's done. How could you? He says he's for police. He's for the police, but when they smash these people's faces into the doors and hit them in the head and broke the windows to the state capitol, the federal capitol, that nothing happened. They still have they let all these people out of prison, and now they call themselves the ICE. They call themselves ICE now, and they're coming and they're snatching old people, 3-year-olds, and anybody in U.S. citizens. They U.S. citizens. They not just grabbing criminals with all of these backgrounds and oh my goodness, I can't believe what they're doing in the United States. This doesn't seem like the United States. I've never seen this. I've never seen this. I have been walking down the street and been called the N-word in different states, and I'm like, okay, but nothing like this, nothing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you have seen, aside from like when they passed the Voting Rights Act in the 60s, have you seen them try this hard to keep people from voting?
This is the hardest I've ever seen. I've never seen them hate I want to say blacks, but they hate everybody. They hate everybody, but just people that consider themselves white and from white descent. I don't know what white is and white descent because all of them are immigrants too. They weren't from this country. Matter of fact, they say there were black people here before white people came over from Europe. So, yeah. and people, they keep destroying the books so that you don't know this. Every time it gets to be too many blacks, next thing you know, black people go to the hospital to have a baby. Either the mother dies or the baby dies or both of them die. And that's how they're trying to control childbirth. If it was me, when I had my first child, and next thing I know, I'm screaming, and he wasn't right. He's not here any longer. And so they try to kill either the mother, the child, or both. Or they want to hang the father for driving 2 miles over the speed limit. They've always come after us. They don't never stop. They try to come after us. So if you need to have a baby, I think you should have one of them wives, one of them what do you call it?
Midwives or doula?
Midwives that come and deliver your children. And because I don't trust these hospitals. The easiest way to get to your family is when you go in them hospitals. I've gone into them hospitals and I'm scared to go into a hospital now because I'm scared I'm not gonna come out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Well, speaking of trust, I just want to reiterate, one, you have to get your ballot in time if you're mailing it. Don't wait until the day of to mail it, just to be on the safe side, because the post office does not guarantee they're going to postmark it the same day. So at least mail it the day before.
You can early vote until this Friday.
Depending on where you live, some states will allow you to early vote up until the day before.
Okay, ours in Texas is till Friday.
Yeah. And then the other thing is make sure that you are registered. Just because you were registered last time does not mean you're registered this time. They are purging people from the voting rolls, so make sure that you're registered. Take care of that now.
And now, like I said, with these SNAP benefits going away, we have to make sure that our neighbors are okay. People across the street, we got to make sure each other are okay. And they said, don't be ashamed to go to a food a food bank. You know, the food banks, a lot of them are being run by the churches or some kind of local organization that's donating money, you know. So just make sure that, you know, try to reach out to others and make sure, you know, hopefully others will reach out to you too, because we're a community. And once we respect each other as a community and not just they don't look at us or we look at them as others, we got to stop looking at one another as others. I don't know what they doing, but I'm staying over here. This is the first time too I've ever seen people always keeping their doors closed, and you don't even know your neighbors. You know, people that live in apartment complexes. I came out my apartment door one day and the man jumped, you know, and he just lived across the hall from me. I'm like, why are you jumping?
People are on edge.
We are, and it's an open carry state too in Texas. But when Don Lemon mentioned other people should, you know, get their own personal weapons, you know, they talked about him on Fox News and thought he was causing trouble. I'm like, he's not causing trouble. He's just telling me if it's an open carry state, if you can get a weapon, get a weapon. You know, I never thought we was going to do this, but I used to watch stuff on TV and think, oh, that'll never happen. But I watched the Jetsons and look at all the airspace and all the flying cars. And I'm like, I thought that was a joke.
So a couple other things I want to mention about restrictive voting laws is 6 states tightened voter ID requirements. So Indiana is no longer allowing student IDs as an acceptable form of ID if you want to vote. West Virginia only now accepts photo ID. Say again?
I said, but it's a state issued ID though. School IDs are state issued ID.
They're not accepted in Indiana anymore. They want to make it harder for students to vote. Because who's more likely to vote for Democrats? Younger people.
I took my granddaughter, it was her first time voting, and they made me leave because I said, make sure you vote for Kamala. And they made me leave.
Yeah, you can't do that. And then there are states like also Indiana, Wyoming, and Tennessee that are now requiring proof of citizenship. So like a passport or birth certificate just to register to vote, even though there is no widespread evidence of non-citizens voting.
You know, it seems like ICE has calmed down this week, only this week, since they tried to go to San Francisco and the billionaire asked him, no, you can't come here. And he did it as a favor to that guy. But he went to Alameda, and my sister took me to Alameda day before yesterday so that I could see where they was throwing the smoke bombs, and that one smoke bomb hit the minister in the face and he had to go to an emergency, you know, and she took me to some other areas where those protests were happening around here too. And I just, you know, it's terrible. Be careful out there in them streets, and but just be careful. And like you said, make sure you vote. And you know, I don't know what else to say about that. Just you got to get out. We can't stay in the house forever. You know, and no SNAP benefits. And he wants to cut Medicare and Medicare now. He wants to cut Medicare, Medicaid, all programs because he wants people out picking the fruit, peeling the shrimp, all the things that Mexicans came and helped us with, and they also made our economy better. They actually made our economy better. We had more money when they was here than now. And then the money we get, Donald Trump, you see, he got a ballroom. I said he got the ballroom. He's taking all of our money and using it for useless things, but he still want to starve us.
Which, again, is why I'm going to keep saying it. People need to vote. The more people that get out to vote, the harder it is for them to pass, to one, elect people like this, and two, to pass laws that don't benefit us.
And he wants a third term.
And he wants a third term. We're not going to let that happen.
No. I'll have Obama do a term, but I won't have him do no third term.
I do want to share some good news. There are some states that are trying to make it easier to vote. So These are states that have done things to make it easier to vote in 2025. Colorado established a state voting rights act to eliminate barriers for people of color. They expanded the use of multilingual ballot access, so now they have ballots in more languages. At least 8 states have passed laws that expand access to mail-in voting. Even Texas, of all places, added additional weekend and Monday before election early voting time. So actually, Andrea, you have until Monday.
Well, they said Friday to us, but what I was going to say was I noticed that Texas was on both maps, on the ones that restrict voting and the ones that don't. I mean,
It's kind of funny.
Notice it was on both. I'm like, wait, now Texas is on both maps now. One that restricts it and one not restricting it. So they confused.
Rhode Island now allows voters to apply to be on a permanent mail voting list. And Connecticut is requiring that polling places allow curbside voting so you can vote from your car. Hawaii and Idaho extended mail-in registration deadlines, and 8 states have increased voter registration opportunities. And several restrictive laws, like in Kentucky and Ohio, also contain some expansive provisions, like expanding eligibility for early in-person voting or allowing you to register to vote at the DMV. So it's not all bad.
Well, the one thing I saw, was in Texas too, I want to say, and this was positive as well, is when I went to early vote, I went to the senior citizen at the Lions Center, and they had where you could have drive-through voting for the handicap again.
Oh, that's great.
So you could drive through and vote, and you didn't have to get out your car. So I thought that was wonderful.
And it should be easier to vote. Like Jazzy said earlier, like election day should be a holiday across the country.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Katie who told us recently that Pennsylvania has election day as a holiday. The rest of us were like, what? We don't have that.
Yes. I was thinking just then is if they really put effort into having fair voting and equal rights voting, that we would get more people that would be fair and have equal rights. I don't think it would always be like it is today. There's got to be it's them against us. It shouldn't be them against us. It should be we want to have more people that want to come into, say, the Republican Party or to the Democratic Party, or if you want to be an independent, and just be fair, and all of us go to school and have, all of us get educated. I never heard a person say that he liked dumb people. I never heard that. And that he want us to have the lowest scores in the world for education. I never heard nothing like that.
The only kind of people that want dumb people are people who want to take advantage of dumb people.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
It's evil.
Mm-hmm. You want to take advantage of dumb people? No.
Maureen mentions that California has a law that an employer must allow 2 hours of paid leave to vote. I know that also some jobs will have some kind of voting allowance. My job, I think, allows up to 4 hours to vote on election day. So make sure you check that too. If you want to vote on election day, see if your work will allow you to take time off to vote. I think a lot of states have some kind of requirement for that, but you can also vote early.
I like early voting because, when I walk in, I'm the first one in line. It wasn't nobody there. I got in there, I voted, and the man was, flirting with me, and I was happy, and so I left. They got to make old people feel good. So it was a senior center.
Wait, what? Who's old? Who's old over here?
Okay, now I know you being nice now. What's funny? You being nice now. I like you.
So I want to talk about in our next segment. I want to talk about what's actually at stake, what is on the ballots. So I'm going to play a video with a gentleman talking about what some of the nearly 600 ballots measures are.
Our research, there are over 600 ballot measures set to appear on this November's ballot, spanning across 24 different states. You heard that right. That's nearly 600 opportunities at the state, city, county, and local level for voters to have a direct say on proposals like building new schools, banning alcohol on Sundays, or instilling ranked choice voting for future elections. So with that in mind, here are 3 things to know about ballot measures and referenda set to appear on the ballot this November 4th. According to our research, there are 24 statewide ballot measures set to appear this November, including 17 in the state of Texas alone. And while everyone, understandably, has their attention on California's Proposition 50, a response to recent redistricting moves taken by Texas Republicans, I've got my eye on 2 statewide measures in the swing state of Maine. The first tightens requirements on voter ID laws and restricts absentee voting in the state. The second allows courts to prohibit firearm access for individuals they deem as dangerous, also known as red flag laws. On both issues, voters tend to fall on partisan lines. In addition to high-profile mayoral and city council elections, New York City voters also have a number of ballot measures to reckon with this year. That includes a measure to shift future city elections from odd-numbered years to even-numbered years. In fact, should it be passed and implemented, and should frontrunner Zohran Mamdani win the upcoming mayoral election, he will face re-election in 2028 instead of 2029 and serve only a 3-year term. But there's a twist. In New York, mayors have a 2 4-year term limit. However, this shortened 3-year term won't count under that limit. That also means whoever wins the election this fall could be eligible to serve 2 more 4-year terms, resulting in a total of an 11-year term. And in Fort Collins, Colorado, 2 competing measures are set to appear on the ballot to determine what to do with the now abandoned Colorado State football stadium. The first measure is citizen initiated and designates the entire land as open natural space. The second is city deferred and designates the land for mixed-use development, including residential and commercial development. It's a similar debate that's playing out in communities across the country, including in dozens of other ballot measures set to appear this fall. All in all, over 100 million eligible voters across the country have some ballot measure or proposal to vote on this November. And I encourage every single one of them to head to ballotready.org and do your research ahead of time. My name is Kunal, and as always, it's a privilege to do this. According to our research,
well, the one thing I'd like to say is in Texas, if you declare your home, as your homestead, that's your permanent residence, that it used to be you could claim on your taxes $100,000 deduction. Now it's $140,000 deduction. So that was a positive, that you can claim $140,000 towards it, and it's a tax write-off. And then the other thing, which I voted against, is they wanted more help at the border. And I'm like, we don't need no more help at the border. Y'all done did enough trouble down there. So that's why it's important, because it was like he's right, about 21 things on the ballot. I can't remember all of them that you need to go and you might be interested in, especially open carry, because people love their guns in Texas.
Yeah, and that's the thing with elections like this year, where it's not a midterm election and it's not a presidential election, is sometimes people stay home because they don't think it's as important. But this is still an important election, and all of these things matter. Like he mentioned with New York, they might want to move the election year from odd years to even years. And that could mean that someone like, if Zohran Mamdani hopefully gets elected, he could feasibly serve as mayor for 11 years instead of 8. And that's matters.
And especially the way he thinks, that he want to make it an affordable place that you can even take mass transit for no charge. And housing where the prices are just astronomical. I don't even know how people pay rent no more these days. The one thing I wanted to ask you about New York too is under the tunnel, what tunnel? What's the name of your tunnel there? The one that he doesn't. Donald Trump tried to freeze the funding to now, that he said because y'all voting for Mamdani. The Holland Tunnel, that because y'all won't do what he wants you to do. I don't know why he keep trying to bribe people. He's just used to, tit for that. What is it, pro quo? I can't say it, my tongue.
Quid pro
quo.
Yeah.
That's what he keep trying to do with everybody, because you won't do this, we won't build a Holland Tunnel for you, and he need to stop that. If it's better for the people, let it be better for the people.
Well, and the thing about New York is, much like California, we send more money to the federal government than we get from the federal government, so we could just not pay the federal government.
And that's how I feel. I feel like, okay, well, I'll just keep our money too, because you're paying for the real estate. And as large as Texas is, you would think they had their own money.
Yeah. So there's another video with some of the ballot, details on the ballot measures that are on the ballot for this Tuesday.
Voters in several states will head to the polls this year to decide on governors, state legislators, local leaders, and even state Supreme Court justices. Let's take a closer look at what's on the ballot and why these races matter. 2 states are electing governors in 2025, Virginia and New Jersey. Let's start in Virginia. Democrat Abigail Spanberger and Republican Winsome Earl Sears are running to succeed outgoing Governor Glenn Youngkin, who is term limited. Spanberger represented Virginia's 7th congressional district from 2019 to 2025, while Earl Sears currently serves as lieutenant governor. Independent write-in candidate Donna Charles is also running. Virginia's gubernatorial election is often seen as the national bellwether. Since 1869, it's been held the year after each presidential election, offering a glimpse into voter sentiment nationwide. As of early October, race forecasters rate this election as either likely Democratic or lean Democratic. Virginia currently has a divided government. Republicans control the governorship, while Democrats hold the state Senate. If Democrats win the governor's office and maintain their legislative majority, they could gain a Democratic trifecta, meaning...
I'm going to skip over the rest of that. Get to this.
There's a special election in Texas's 18th congressional district following the death of Representative Sylvester Turner in March 2025. The race features more than a dozen candidates, including Democrats Amanda Edwards, Christian Menefee, and Yolanda Jones, as well as several Republican, Green, and Independent contenders. The winner will finish Turner's term under the district's current boundaries, but the seat is set to be redrawn in 2026. That means voters could be heading back to the polls soon after this election to vote under new district lines. In Virginia, all 100 seats in the House of Delegates are up for election. Democrats currently hold a narrow 51 to 48 majority with 1 vacant seat. Republicans need to gain just 3 seats to take control of the chamber. Control of the Virginia legislature has flipped every 2 years since 2019, a rare pattern showing just how competitive the state has become. Both parties are treating this election as an early referendum on national politics heading into 2026. Ballotpedia has identified 23 battleground districts, with Democrats favored in 7 Republican-held seats, according to independent forecasts.
So Virginia, we really need you to get out there and vote. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
100 delegates up for election.
Sylvester Turner, they have left his seat vacant for, it seemed like, at least a year and a half right now. And he wasn't supposed to do that, but Greg Abbott has done his best to leave that vacant so that they could keep passing these laws or whatever. They're not laws, but whatever he's doing, they just stopping us from being where we need to be. And Representative Jones in Harris County, the lady that was on Don Lemon's show so many times, she's a very good person to take Sylvester Turner's seat, and I wish her well. I really do wish her well.
Yeah, I want to see her win too.
Mm-hmm.
She seems really passionate. She seems like she really cares.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we need those kind of people that care about children, seniors, and just everybody. We need people like that in our world.
Yeah. I just want to play a little bit more of this video.
18 of the nation's 100 largest cities are holding mayoral elections this year, including Seattle, New York City, and Minneapolis. In Seattle, incumbent Bruce Harrell faces challenger Katie Wilson, the co-founder of the Transit Riders Union. Wilson led the primary with 51% of the vote, while Harrell received 41%. If reelected, Harrell would become Seattle's first two-term mayor since 2009. In New York City, Democrat and Working Families Party candidate Zoran Mamdani faces Curtis Sliwa, the Republicans and Protect Animals Party candidate, and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who's running under the Fight and Deliver Party. The race follows a closely watched primary where Mamdani defeated Cuomo in ranked choice voting. Issues like affordability, public safety, and national politics are central themes in this campaign. And in Minneapolis, Mayor Jacob Frey faces State Senator Omar Fateh in a competitive race highlighting divisions within Minnesota's Democratic Farmer Labor Party. The Minneapolis DFL initially endorsed Fateh, the first endorsement for a mayoral candidate since 2009, but later revoked it after disputes over the process. Elections in Minneapolis are officially nonpartisan, but candidates often identify with major political parties.
So again, so many important elections happening on Tuesday across the country. People have to go vote. I cannot say that enough. And I didn't know that the mayor of Minneapolis was nonpartisan. He doesn't have a party. That's pretty cool, actually.
You know, since the pandemic and we lost over 1 million people, we need to keep as many bodies here on this planet as we can. You know, we don't know what tomorrow brings. And Mamdani, I mean, like I said, he has good ideas. I didn't understand what Abbott being on the good list and the bad list meant for the state, for the country. You know, I'm happy. I want the governor of California. I want Newsom to run for president.
Yeah.
I think he'd be, you know, he's willing to fight back. He's willing to fight with Trump, and he doesn't have any bad reasons for wanting to run for governor, except for wanting to see the United States be successful. You know, like he said, he has the fourth largest and richest country in the world. I mean, state in the world with all of the money, so he can do it. He can run the country if he can run California.
So May Money says tomorrow is bringing some bullshittery if we don't do anything. So I do want to talk about organizations that are actually doing something. So the NAACP invested $750 million to engage over 1.5 million voters ahead of the 2025 election and to mobilize support for Prop 50 in California. So basically, they plan to engage 1.2 million voters, and they train over 300 poll monitors across major metro areas. So they're really doing all that they can to get out the vote. And the NAACP is also suing Texas and Missouri over what they call unconstitutional election maps. And they also have a lawsuit against the Trump administration over an executive order that could suppress millions of voters.
Yeah, because the only time they're supposed to redistrict is if they've had a census. And this is not time for a census. Census is every 10 years where they count the people and, you know, see how many more spots they have now for senators and Congress people. And here, no, we want to do everything that Trump wants. Why does Trump have such a hold on people? Have you ever thought that?
Because he's a cult leader. It doesn't make sense. When you're a cult leader, all you have to do is charm the people. And once you win them over, it's hard to get the cult mindset to break.
See, and I
think, as Jazzy says, blackmail. that also does it.
And see, and I think it's Epstein. I think a lot of them have been over to that island, and he knows a lot about their bad habits, you know, or they think they're good habits, but in there, I think he knows, yes, she's right, it's blackmail, but he knows a lot about these people, and they don't want it to get out.
Jazzy said it's all Epstein.
I think it's all Epstein too. I mean, that book, I mean, I can't wait for us to do it on We the People Unite when we go through the book, chapter by chapter, to do the review so that we can analyze this some more as to how does he have such a hold on the Supreme Court? And why can, what's his name, the black guy? Yeah, Clarence Thomas. How come Clarence Thomas? He got a yacht, he got a house, he got a shoot, he is flying everywhere and doing everything. All of them are being bribed. All of them are being bribed.
He is not black. I'm sorry. He is not. He doesn't act like he's black. He doesn't move like a black. No.
We took his black card. I'm sorry. That dark-skinned person on there. So that's what I'm saying. Why? And the other one, the white guy, the one that's heading all of it, what's his name? Who? She keep trying to tell me the name so I can remember. But the one that they listen to, the head guy on the Supreme Court. Somebody knew who I'm talking about. You know his name.
Oh, John Roberts.
Yeah, John. That's who everybody listens to, and they follow his lead. And so whatever Roberts want, that's what they do. That's what they do. And then it's so crazy watching Hexef over all the armed services. This is like a clown show. And then you got the other one over the FBI. They said he couldn't solve a crime at 7-Eleven. I said, I just don't even believe this. This don't seem like America.
So one more organization, and there are many, that is doing action to get the vote out is the League of Women Voters. And they have a campaign called Unite and Rise 8.5 to activate 8.5 million voices through civic engagement, education, and collective power. It launched in May 2025, and it runs into the midterm elections. And the 8.5 number is based on research suggesting that nonviolent protests engaging 3.5% of the population, approximately 8,575,000 eligible voters, has never failed to bring about change. So you can sign up to join Unite and Rise for Democracy. And you can also join them to help protect Voting Rights Act and connect with them on issues to turn up the heat on elected officials at town halls. So NAACP and League of Women Voters doing some great stuff out there.
That's wonderful. I hadn't heard of them either, Jazzy. We need as much help as we can get. And like I said, we had 8.2 million for the protest. So, when they start having no groceries November 1st,
maybe get up and run.
I think it's going to have to affect the people in the rural counties, because I think they don't watch much television to begin with, and they must all get Fox. And so they think Trump is okay, but we have to do this together. I think we have to come out every color, red, yellow, black, and white. We have to come out together. We can't just come out as black people because they're going to shoot all of us. But we have to come out with everybody that we are of one mindset. We want the same thing. We want to keep our democracy.
We do. I want to share a couple of campaigns from Rock the Vote. They are also still around and still trying to get people to vote.
I like him. There's no sound.
You're on mute. Okay.
There's no sound, Keisha.
Uh-oh. It looks like my sound just went out. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just can't hear. I know his name too. Is it the older you get? There's so many names in your head. You're like, oh my goodness.
It is Roy Wood Jr.
Yeah, Roy Wood Jr. I love Roy Wood Jr. Oh, he's so funny. He's funny. He's for real. He's a caring person. His son is cute. You got you got a young son. That's
Why won't my browser let me be great? It said your audio is missing. You have to reload. If I reload, I lose the stream. So
okay. No worry about it.
yeah. All right. So a couple of things to close out this segment that I want to mention is 1, vote. 2, if you are doing vote by mail, make sure you get your ballot in early. Don't wait until the day of. Mail it at least the day before. And make sure that you are registered to vote. Make sure that you are registered to vote. And then if you can help someone, if they're voting in person, if you can help them with a ride to the ballot, if they're not voting by mail, please help people get to the polls. And that's it. Any final for you?
Well, the one thing I always like people to know is one person can make a difference. You know, we think it takes a whole bunch of people, but if you add up those 15 million to 50 million people that did not go out and vote, one person could have made a difference. And that's what we need. We want to save our democracy. We want to save our community. We need to get back into churches. And so, you know, I was happy to be here with you, Keisha. I appreciate you.
Well, I do have a couple of fun things to share before we go, and I appreciate you being here as well. So there are some great small protests that are happening. And this is from a group that is trolling the Daily Mail.
Huh.
So it says, we blame migrants, so you don't blame billionaires. And this is basically like a cover that they put over the Daily Mail newspaper. So it's not actually from the Daily Mail.
We blame migrants, so don't blame billionaires. Does that make sense?
Yes, they're saying that the Daily Mail likes to blame immigrants so that we don't pay attention to the fact that billionaires are basically robbing us blind.
Yeah, they are.
So I thought this was great.
It was. But some people might not understood it like I did. I'm like, what? I'm trying to make sense of that. We need immigrants. We need some more people over here. Y'all keep coming.
Yep.
We need them.
And then there's this. Halloween is coming up, so let's look at some Halloween costumes. You see that? Those are Transformers.
That's cute. Did you see that?
No, this is from Threads.
Fred, yeah. And you can't even tell those are people.
That's so cute.
That was cute. And that airplane, I didn't know that was a person under that. That was cute.
Yeah, they're little kids.
That's cute.
And then we have some dogs. You see that?
Pretending like they're cleaning up the streets.
Those are those little dogs that have like the fur that looks like mops.
That's how your dog look.
No, my dog has curly hair.
I'm talking about he has a lot of hair like that. He got a lot of hair, and you and Don Lemon got the same dog. It's cute.
And lastly,
what's your dog name?
His name is Ollie.
Ollie. Oh, okay.
And then here we have a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. You see that?
That was cute. Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So that's it. For everyone in the audience, have you voted? Are you going to vote? Tell us in the chat.
Is that guy macaroni? Yeah, it is macaroni.
I didn't even notice that. It's macaroni. That's so funny. He has a little chicken on him. That's hilarious. All right, that's it for this one. Aundria, thank you again for joining. Thank you for those of you in the chat for participating. I really appreciate your comments.
Like, comment, and share it with one of your loved ones.
Absolutely. Once again, I'm Keisha. This is Here's the Thing. Join me again next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. We'll have a new topic for you. And in the meantime, on Wednesday and Friday for We the People Unite, we have live shows again at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And vote, 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 vote.
Vote, vote.
Tell your friends, tell your family, vote, vote, vote. Thank you for joining. We will see you next week.
See you later.